I have finally completed the journey of watching every Best Picture nominee from this year. I've said it before, but it constantly feels like I live in one of the worst movie markets since my city was one of the last to receive the Zone of Interest theatrically. So here it is, my subjective opinion, 10 through 1. Number 10 is Maestro, and this is a part where I need to clarify, every single one of these films I've given at least a 4-star or higher on Letterboxd, so I do consider all of these quite good. Despite the internet wanting me to believe that Bradley Cooper is a tryhard who only wants to win an Oscar, I do enjoy his performance and direction within this film. His 6 years spent on learning how to conduct paid off from one of my favorite scenes of the entire year. And while I do think the story falls a little flat, it leaves me with a slightly less than memorable experience. Number 9 is The Zone of Interest. And this is a film that feels very wrong to even compare it to anything else, because it stands out in being completely unique and also deals with a very heavy subject matter. On the technical side of it, it is a masterpiece when it comes to the sound design and the way that they choose to shoot and film this. The only major issue I have is I feel like there was long periods of time within this film that didn't really connect with me. The last 15 minutes to me were the most effective aspects of it, but this is going to be a more polarizing film, especially for mainstream audiences who aren't used to this type of filmmaking. Number 8 is American Fiction, a comedy and exploration of adaptation, specifically coming from black voices. The performances are phenomenal, and the meta level of storytelling that it utilizes in order to make its point is unique enough to make me process thoughts that no other movie has given me before. It does feel like it has the potential to be a film that we remember for years to come, but I do worry when comparing it to all these other films this year, this one might be one of those that get forgotten. The Holdovers is going to be my most controversial placement on this list, because people seem to absolutely adore it. And don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy this film. I think my biggest issue with this is that it felt rather safe. And that isn't a bad thing. I think this accomplished exactly what it wanted to set out and do, and that is to be this instant holiday classic. And it worked, because this is definitely a film that I want to revisit every single December. I just think I place a little bit more value when it comes to creative and original ideas, and this definitely has ideas that are unique, but at the end of the day, I think the biggest strength that it has is that it is reminiscent of other older films that we don't see being made as much anymore. Divine Joy Randolph, to me, is a lock-in to win Best Supporting Actress, so for her to be the representation of the winning awards of this film, I think that's a pretty good deal. Number 6 is Anatomy of a Fall. I'm definitely bummed Greta Gerwig didn't get a Best Director nomination, but if we have to have a sole female nomination, I am glad it's going to Justine Triet. The combination of her and Sandra Huller are extremely strong, especially with this near flawless script. It's kind of the anti-true crime, which makes you rethink how you do view these stories and how we need to focus more on the humanity that is involved with these cases. It's a real bummer to me that France did not choose this to be nominated for Best International Feature, but I'm really rooting for it to take Best Original Screenplay. Number 5 goes to Barbie. I still like Barbie. I understand the criticism of this being just a commercial for a toy line, but the way that I prefer to view it is that if we are going to get a movie like this, at least it's being done through the hands of Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. The messaging is strong. You mix that in with outstanding production design, some of the most creative colors on screen. This was an absolute summer party. Number 4 is Killers of the Flower Moon. What more is there to say about the great Martin Scorsese? Everything he does is near perfection, and this is no different. Is it long? Absolutely. But I'm just so grateful that we do have a director that is willing to take his time in order to tell the story that he feels like he needs to tell. He could have made it another hour longer, and I still would have just ate it all up. Number 3 is Poor Things. Another contender for the most fun colors on screen. Truly, I think the Best Actress race is the closest between Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone, and I'm starting to think Emma Stone takes the edge here. Her performance is phenomenal in a movie that I can hardly recommend to anyone, not only because of the graphic nature within it, but it also feels like one of the least accessible films on this list. But if you're into weird vibes with powerful themes told in unique and disturbing ways, this is a great film for you weirdos, and I absolutely adore it. Number 2 is Oppenheimer, which is still, in my opinion, the strongest contender to win Best Picture. And I feel like it's just a waste of time to list all the performances in this film that I love, because every single supporting performance is done through an A-list actor, and every single one of them gives one of the best performances of their career. This is a biopic told in a subversive way, one that switches up tone and genre midway through the film, while still giving you enough powerful themes to ponder. But if you've watched my top 10 favorite films of the year, this is going to be no surprise, but my number 1 pick from this list is also Past Lives. I don't think this is going to win any Oscars this year, but it still holds a very special place in my heart in the tone and way that this story is told. In my opinion, Greta Lee being snubbed from Best Actress was one of the biggest snubs of this year. Her performance is so layered and nuanced and quiet and kind of perfect in the way that this film communicates what it means to mourn your past self. Growing up and moving on from relationships or situations that you previously found yourself in, causing for this awkward tension. It's a beautiful film, and I'm sure that it will be one of my favorites of this entire decade. So there's my 10 through 1 Best Picture nominees ranked. Let me know your list below.